So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us tonight, and then as well as thanking everyone for signing up for games and signing up for this event. I know it's a big ask always, every time we do this, when we ask for you to commit to being available, committing to going out and doing the games, and then committing to bringing the best efforts that you guys have. So again, just thanking you ahead of time before we get too far into that process. Um, let's see, Simmons, do I have screen share?
Yep, you should have co-host.
All right. Um, Again, this is just covering what we're doing this weekend for the WPL's Washington Cup. Um, just want to go over just quick introductions. For those who don't know, I'm Craig Allen. Um, I'm the primary assigner for the WPL Washington Cup as well as their development league. Um, so majority of the times that you get emails from me, it's related to the WPL's events. And then I also do assign over the summer the Starfire tournaments as well. And then Jonathan Simmons is here with us as well. He's the director of mentoring with Northwest Soccer Officials. And he has been instrumental in terms of helping us elevate this event and providing officials um, clear a clear path to improvement through mentoring. I think I don't know if Rachel made it on tonight, but I was going to include Rachel just because I think that there's opportunities here for us to share information as well as some of our social media outlets to have some exposure for some of us that like to see our faces out there in the open on social media. So if you guys are at your game and have decided to take a group picture or the event, don't hesitate to share it with Rachel as well. And you could possibly see that posted up on one of our Facebook or Instagram posts throughout the weekend. Also with us is Richard Meeks. He is our executive director. I think most of us know Richard either through his assigning roles or his work on the board. But he's been one of the key people that has been helping with this event and helping structure it in a way that kind of moves us forward so that it is an event that everyone wants to participate in. So the first thing that we always challenge ourselves with this weekend are conflicts of interest. I know a lot of times I get um, people that are interested in officiating these games, and it turns out that they're going to be in the area because they're uh, one of their family members is playing or participating or coaching. And so, one of the things that we need to make sure that we're not doing is putting ourselves in situations where there is a perceived affiliation, either with the club or relative or a member of the crew, and the game that just calls into question whether or not we can be impartial and provide the um, provide an unbiased performance. So if there's a situation or you have a conflict with a particular team or a coach or a game itself being the club, please let me know right away. That way we can move you around and find a game on another field where we're not having that perceived conflict. Uh, Game day protocols, we should be doing a consistent process. every time we go out to the games. Um, so we've kind of just outlined some things that we have expectations for, things that are going to help you with those expectations. Will be, we're gonna the tournament has provided trainers. The trainers should be at a tent, or sometimes they're just kind of standing out in the open, and they should be at all the locations. I believe that if you are at Ravensdale, the trainer likes to hang out up between fields 2 and 3 by the bathroom. Over at Valley Ridge, the same kind of thing. Over by the bathrooms, right in the middle of fields 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I believe that the other trainer at Summit Park will be between the two fields as well. Field marshals will be at all locations. So there is a person related to the tournament. I I believe that the request has been that those people be that they'll have a what's the right terminology for it? It's the highlighted field marshal jacket, like we see on the construction workers. So someone that's visible. They usually have a clipboard. They'll be walking around. If you're doing multiple games in a day, you'll kind of identify them pretty easily. But those are the people that when we have issues at the facilities, we should be directing our questions to about how to resolve issues that we have at the fields. The tournament staff will have a tent at two primary locations at Ravensdale Park and at Valley Ridge. At Valley Ridge, I believe that they will be setting up a tent right there at the very at the entrance between fields 1 and 2. If you have questions related to the tournament, the staff can answer that. If you have issues related to rosters or other game day check-in processes, or there's an issue with a particular player or coach's cards, or um, their um, their lack of rosters, please direct them to go to the tournament staff and to the tournament desk. Again, also they'll have a tournament desk at Ravensdale Park. The only location I know at Summit Park, I believe, is they probably will not have a tournament desk there, but they will rely on the field marshals to relay information back to the tournament staff to help resolve game day issues. And then, as always, I hope that everyone has my cell phone number. And to please text or call me as situations arise, especially if it impacts the game or anything that occurs, while you're at the field. When we show up to the field, again, we're going to reemphasize professionalism. Um, it starts with, uh, looking the part. So make sure that we're all bringing all of our available officiating jerseys. We have extra clothes. Again, it's going to be kind of cold. I'm not sure if it's going to be wet. So plan ahead, make sure that you are prepared. Um, and I hope that you all try to stay warm as much as possible while still looking professional. I think we have a question every once in a while about, can I wear my extra layers? As long as you put everything underneath your uniform, and you don't have a hood hanging out the back of your jersey, I think we are happy to accommodate to make sure that you stay warm during the day. And then, just as a reminder, when you're not officiating and you are walking or watching at the facility, please to not wear your referee uniform. We want to only be identified when we're on the field or at the field, and we want to make sure that we're bringing uh, a look that identifies us when we're on our game and not when we're off our game. Be on time. I mean, it's the thing that signers are going to repeat over and over again. Um, I I am asking that everyone be at their field for their first game 30 minutes early. If you are experiencing traffic or you are in a location that requires you to drive more than 30 minutes to get to the field, I would recommend you get there 45 to 50 minutes before your first scheduled game. That will help ensure that you are able to start the game on time and that you are at the field and able to meet up with your crew so that you can do the important things of doing the field inspections, checking in the teams, and having a pregame. You are required to check in for your match. What I would like to have is the center referee for every match text me 15 minutes before kickoff that all members of their crew are present and ready to go. At that 15-minute mark before your kickoff, if you are missing a member of your crew, the center referee should text me. And of course, the question is what if the center referee isn't there? Either AR1 or AR2 should text me immediately at that 15-minute mark before the kickoff that the referee is not yet there. And we will try to either locate that person or find hopefully a way to either delay the game and wait for them or find a replacement. Check-ins, every team's going to provide you with rosters at the field, so you will have rosters for check-ins. Again, the league has asked that there be no write-in changes on the roster, so as they're presented, it should be printed. If there is a write-in on the roster, the league has asked that they review it and that there will be an initial or a stamp on the roster. I believe last year they were able to put a it kind of looked like a WPL type logo stamp on the roster, and then they initialed it next to the player's name. That's kind of been the indicator that the player should have been added to the roster, and for whatever reason, when it got printed, they didn't appear. But if there's an issue with a single player, what we are advising is that the player not participate until the league or until someone from the tournament has cleared that individual. So send the team manager with a copy of the roster back to the tournament desk, complete your check-ins, move on with the game, and then later on in the game, if they get cleared, allow them to participate. The teams know that allowing a player who isn't eligible to participate in the game results in a forfeit, but that won't be determined until after the game's over. So the referee crew shouldn't be making a determination if an ineligible player participated that they then forfeit the game. We're going to leave all that up to the league. The teams should be providing you 2 copies. If they have more, that's great. We will have 1 copy for you and 1 copy to return. Make sure that you review it, that you sign it, and you write in the final score at the conclusion of the game. I'm going to repeat this again at the very end of these slides. That if it's wet outside, I would take a picture of it on your cell phone. That way, you don't have a wet or soggy roster in your bag at the end of the day when you need to go look at it and it's unreadable. The game balls will be provided by the home team, so the team listed first. I know on Friday I was able to get all of the teams listed. I will be working to try to update the schedules so that we have teams listed on the website. If I don't get that done and we don't have teams listed on the website for your match, it's the 2 teams that are there at the field that are playing each other. And on the roster, it will indicate the home team and the away team. And the home team is responsible for game balls. Please ask for 3 game balls. Make sure that they're properly inflated. If the situation requires that you need more balls during the game, um, find an appropriate time to ask the coach or the team manager if they have additional balls, or the opposing team wants to provide additional balls. That's also an option. Just make sure that we do it at an appropriate time during the game, and that you, as the referee crew, inspect the ball and confirm that it's appropriate for the game. And again, rosters, you're going to get them from the teams. You're going to check in the players, use the player cards. Uh, do not collect or hold on to the player cards. Make sure those go directly back to the coach or the team manager, and that we don't hold on to anything at that. No, don't hold on to the player cards. Keep the rosters though until the end of the game. All the check-ins will happen at the field. Make sure that before you get to the field, you start thinking about what kind of pregame you would like to have with your crew. I try to create a variety of people, or put people together that possibly haven't worked together before. So you might have someone that you've never worked with, and make sure that you communicate clearly in your pregame expectations, and how you would like to operate in your game. In addition to the pregame, before you begin the game, I would recommend also walking the field. Make sure the goals are properly set, that there aren't any foreign objects on the field, and then encourage spectators not to set up on the touchline, but at a safe distance, and not on the team bench side of the fields. I believe that at Summit Park, officials and teams will all be in the center, and then spectators will be on the outside. Similarly, at Valley Ridge, spectators are usually near the walkway path, and then teams will be on the outside. And then at Ravensdale, Field 4, which is the far corner field, teams are on the far side, spectators are on the near side. I'm still waiting to get confirmation on fields 2 and 3 at Ravensdale. There's the near side is a baseball infield, and last year it worked out well where that was the spectator side, and then the far side was the team side. So that way, teams are far away from the spectators, and the spectators can kind of come and go from their vehicles to the field without having to cross paths with the teams and players and stuff like that.
Hey, Craig, there's a question in chat.
Okay.
On the rosters that have photos, are those okay to check in players, or do you need physical player cards?
If they have photos on the rosters, they are a-okay to use those. What we do want to do is confirm that they do have their cards with them, but we would not use the cards to check them in. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Again, before we start the game, get captains, do a coin toss. And then we are asking for an international walkout. I believe this would be something new for the teams at this level. We did a little bit last year on just the finals. I'd like every game that we have this weekend to have an international walkout. It is up to, well, no, let's make a decision right now. It's not just the starters, it's all participating players included in the walkout. So if they're not suited up and unable to play, or they were injured, or they're not starters, we're going to include everyone. We'll do an international walkout. You walk out with the ball as your crew, give them a wave to mom and dad there on the side, and then get the game going.
And just to remind everybody, if you haven't done an international walkout, it's just like the Sounders do. You walk out, you're three in front of everybody. Everybody else walks single file behind you, and then everybody fans out for the photo. So if you haven't done one yet, make sure you ask to make sure that we do it right.
Thank you, Jonathan. Uh, Another thing that we're going to see this weekend, spectator behavior. Uh, Reminder that you, as a referee or refereeing crew, do not have direct authority um, over the spectators, and that we are going to use the coaches as the mechanism for correcting or resolving spectator issues. So that means that if you have a overly excited spectator that is persisting with their behavior, and it continues on, look for a stoppage moment in the match, and then address it with the coach or coaches. And as always, it's the ask, tell, remove scenario. So we are going to ask the coach to address it. And if the coach at that point does not address it, you will then instruct the coach to address it. So you were going to tell him he must address it. And usually when we've come to tell them, we've already tried to work with them a little bit, and we will then have to then use use cards to communicate to the coach that whatever the spectator or spectators are doing is continuing to be disruptive, and either disrespectful or unsafe with the officiating crew. In which case, then, and the coaches aren't working with us on this, we're going to have to go through those steps. So make sure that we aren't escalating it directly to red cards. We want to work with the coaches. I think the coaches also are there, and they understand that they may have one or two parents that are a little extra, and if you want to offer an assistance to the coach, you can walk with them and support them in their process, but you're not required to. If you do have a coach dismissal and it occurs in the first half, if you could send me a text letting me know that you've dismissed the coach in the first half, that would be great. That usually gives me an opportunity to get someone from the WPL's administrative staff over to the field, and usually that is an assistance to you to try to either remove the spectators or the issues that are being brought up at the field. Some extended duties. AR1, as always, you are usually the lead AR on the game. If we have a fourth official, there are fourth officials on the finals for the Gold Division games. Both officials, you're required to assist with substitutions, and that helps the referee know that that a team is ready to substitute, and that the person who's ready to come in is ready to come in truly and knows who they're going to come in for. We're just looking for them to be ready to go, standing at midfield, and we are waving our players on. We're asking not to hold the players on the substitutions because we are playing 40-minute halves. So we do have some limitations on time. If we continued to hold them and had to add extra time, I think that we would run into problems with trying to get the next game started in a timely manner. So as those substitutions are ready and you beckon them on, encourage the player to run onto the field right away. Also looking at injuries. making sure that the AR and the fourth officials, if we do have injuries, making sure that they assist you, the referee or the crew, and not letting us restart if we have an injured player down on the ground, or that we are communicating to the bench or the coaches that they have an injured player, and trying to get that injured player assisted as well as substituted so that we can quickly restart the game. Um, Before the game starts, AR1, as you have some time, and also for the fourth official, we don't want balls rolling around behind the team benches. We'd like a orderly and cleaned up technical area. And we do need to make sure that players that are warming up or sitting on the bench are in pennies. This will help with when it comes to the final phase of the game, and we end up having to go into the penalty kicks phase if your game does go there. Just as a reminder, it's unlimited substitutions for all age divisions in the WPL. And it's also stated that substitutions are at the discretion of the referee. So if you have a quick restart, you don't stop the restart, let the restart continue, especially if it's the team in attack that is not substituting. You'll also see delay tactics being utilized when a team is leading, possibly trying to kill out the clock. So just a reminder, as the referee, use good judgment and make sure that you are not punishing the team in attack or that is trying to play quickly during the game. Another scenario that we have is when a team is in a defensive set. So there's a set play, whether it's a free kick or a corner. Sometimes the defensive team will choose to not substitute, and that's okay as well. So just a reminder that we don't have to substitute on every stoppage, but if they choose to, and we have time, definitely make substitutions. And again, if the other team didn't have a substitute up and we are chasing the ball and we have some time, definitely allow the substitutions to come on. Every game has to have a winner. If you are lucky enough to have a game that ends in a tie at the end of regulation, all quarterfinal and semifinal games will go directly to penalty kicks. So every game on Friday and Saturday, you guys will go directly to penalty kicks if the game is tied. On Sunday, all games will have a 2 5-minute overtime golden goal periods. That means if any team scores within the 2 5-minute overtime periods, the game is over. If you are still tied after that period of time, you will go to penalty kicks. So penalty kicks. I know a lot of us don't practice penalty kicks, and not every scenario or not every league that we participate in or every affiliation we do goes to penalty kicks. So let's make sure that we're getting this right from the beginning. How do I move? One second. I need to move this here. As the referee, make sure that you've rehearsed this, that you have a clear and repeatable process for how you are going to go through the penalty kick procedures. Understand that the ball has to be stationary. The goalposts have to be stationary and not moving. So making sure that the equipment itself is stationary and properly set. No, I don't don't think we need to identify, because if we go to penalty kicks, there's only one person. Um, and again, instructions. So I like to have instructions with both goalkeepers so that I can give that same instruction to both teams defending the goals. Um, and that way they understand that when I do the same thing for one team, I'm doing the exact same thing for the other team. And so that you have clear instructions to the goalkeepers. So if that is, you know, when they get ready, you make sure that they're ready, you make sure the kicker's ready, and then you communicate that with either um, if you have in if your pregame with the goalkeepers before you start your penalty kicks is, you know, goalkeeper give me a thumbs up, or I'm ready, or just a head nod or something. Um, that way you acknowledge that they are set and ready, and then blow the whistle. Again, also instructions for the kickers. The kicker places the ball, they wait for the whistle, and then at that moment, that's when the kick begins. Uh,
And just to clarify for everyone, on this slide here, this is the penalty kick during the match, and the next slide that we're going to see is penalties after the match.
I think this kind of was covering some of the specifics of aligning, um, making sure that yes, some of these things don't apply during penalty kick phase.
And remember, as a ref, where we're standing is different for kicks from the mark or penalty shootout rather than from a penalty kick, because we don't have those players running in. And so the assistant referee can stand closer to the goal and on the goal area line, because we're not running back to the line if it goes out, if it continues to play. So, and we're not continuing play. So just some difference.
Remember that the ball, the kick is not over until the ball stops, or the ball has been saved, or is in the back of the net. So yeah, I think we've all seen that video on YouTube where the goalkeeper makes a great save, the ball goes straight up in the air, and then it bounces and rolls in the goal after as he goes up the field celebrating. So making sure that that scenario doesn't happen, and we get to rewatch it on YouTube later. The rest of that does not apply since we're doing. Here's what does apply. Um, the referee will perform a coin toss to decide the goals that'll be utilized for the kicks. The only time in that scenario where we will not use a coin toss to select which end we are kicking on is if there is a significant disadvantage because of the wind or lighting. If it's in a dark corner and one of the other side of the field is very well lit, we would want to be in the well lit side. The same thing if we have wind, if it's a windy day and one side of the field is less windy than the other, we would like it to be less windy. And things like that. Or if we have unfortunately, a terrible penalty spot on some of these fields, the penalty area can sometimes get destroyed for whatever reason. And when we go look at that penalty area, if that turf has been replaced on that spot, or it's kind of awkward, or may make it challenging, then we would want to see, would it be a fair process to use the other penalty area instead of that? And that would be the only situations where we as the officials are going to pick the side or the goals that we are going to shoot at.
Hey, Craig, would one of those considerations be the side that everybody and their other spectators are passing right behind the goal all the time, and the other side there's nobody over there? Is that a consideration we can think about?
Exactly. That is a great consideration to remind us of, is if that is the walkway area, and everyone's decided that they're going to walk behind that area during the goals or during the penalty shootout. I'm sure that every younger brother and sister is going to just hang out there just to watch their older brother during that game. So yeah, so definitely making sure that it's a safe environment and that people aren't behind the goals during the penalty shootout phase. And as Jonathan was saying, here is a great example of a setup for the penalty kicks. A couple things that I really like that I'll point out is you see where the referee is right here over on the right hand side. Let's get away from the goal because what we don't want to do is we don't want to be within the view, the peripheral view of the goalkeeper or the person taking the penalty. We want it to be them them focusing on each other and focusing on their task. Um, and another great thing that I like here is our other AR has lined up our players. Hopefully, they are in the shooting order. We always recommend that. It makes things easier to expedite, who the next kicker is, if and as well as all the officials are all recording all the kicks and all the kickers. So that way, if at the end of the penalty kick phase there's a discrepancy or they're contesting the outcome of the penalty kicks, we all have the exact same thing written down. And we're all aware that, or we all have the same information that this is how many kicks the yellow team made, and this is how many kicks the red team made.
Every year there is a game where we complete 9 out of 10 kicks, do the math wrong, and then blow the whistle for the end of the game, and then figure out, oh wait, we still have to take another kick, and then that team wins, and then that's really embarrassing. So everybody do the math. And if there's a nonverbal communication you can talk about before the penalty kicks, like, hey, this is the last one, or hey, if they score this, we're good. That's something center referee can communicate.
Yeah, and then also at the same time, I know that multiple times when I've been administering the kicks, as the players come up, usually around the fourth or fifth kicker on each team, they will ask you, if I make this, does that win the game? And you need to know when you look at your paper, mathematically, if they make this goal or if they make this penalty kick, that ends the game. Make sure you don't get that answer wrong because we don't want teams celebrating and then realize, oh wait, the other team can make a penalty kick and stay in it. So we have to do one more round and then we have to reel back in those emotions. If we do make a mistake like that, I would rather you own it and let them know that you made a mistake and that we will try to do better with that when we communicate that information to them. Whoops. For this event, only the players on the field will be participating in the penalty shootout. So, if you are the official for your game and you guys enter the final minutes of the match, look for opportunities for substitutions for the teams, even if that is a inadvertent whistle, so you can tie your shoe. And especially if you see that the coaches have brought substitutes to the midfield, um, we want to make sure that we are providing opportunities for both teams to get the players on the field so that they can partake in the penalty kicks. Um, if you've had a red card during your game, again, make sure that you know that you have to reduce to equate. So if one team only has 10 players and the other team has 11 players, the team with 11 players has one person that can sit out or can choose to not participate in the penalty kicks. Um, Offenses. Uh, I don't think I'm hoping that we don't get to this part in our game where we are seeing offenses by the kickers or the goalkeepers. And I would also caution us to not be looking for things like this in this penalty kick phase. Um, and I will tell you that if the goalkeeper makes a step off the line, that we are looking for things that are significant, that dramatically and significantly give that player an advantage in making the save. And then the same thing for the kicker. The kicker committing an offense like feigning or stopping during their run up. We want that to be, you know, um, quite obvious to everyone if we get to that because we don't want it to be so slight that it was a momentary pause and then continuing on. So we're looking for clear and obvious offenses. Before your game starts, I would, in your pregame, address that, you may get to you may end up going to penalty kicks. Start thinking about it then. Start thinking about it before you get to your game. Have discussions about it. I think a lot of us start to talk about it at halftime and kind of understanding, okay, we need to start delegating assignments. If you are the referee and you do end up going to penalty kicks, make sure that you have all of your pregame discussions about penalties done by halftime. So that means if AR1 is going to stay with the coaches, that are on that are directly behind them, and then AR2 would stand with the other bench while that's going on, and then the referee goes to the middle of the field to take captains, do the coin toss, and things like that, as well as late in the second half, making sure that AR1 and the referee have both communicated to the benches to make sure that the substitutes and any remaining players or personnel have their pennies on or have non-uniform apparel on that can clearly identify them as non-participants in the penalty kick phase. This just kind of covers, again, the same things. We will do coin flip. The away team, I would like the away team to make the selection. The winner of the coin flip can decide to kick first or kick second. You need to write down the penalty kick takers. Again, trying to make sure that we're getting this correct and that we don't have any issues at the end of the games or at the end of the penalty kick phase. Instructions to the goalkeepers, instructions to the kickers, repeat it. Make sure you use the same language. Make sure you use the same cadence. And again, also use the same whistle tone. I've heard a couple of times when people are doing penalty kicks, the first couple of penalty kicks, they did kind of some light tweets, but then all of a sudden it's the fifth and game deciding kick, and the referee goes up there and decides to, really lay on it super hard when they haven't had a hard tweet all game. Let's be consistent and let's provide a consistent background for them to go up and do their kicks. And penalty kicks, we need to move it along. It shouldn't. I put down 10 minutes. I know some of you are going to be like, well, it just takes 10 minutes just to corral them all together, right? As soon as the game's over, you already know who your 11 players are on from both teams. You should already be walking out as soon as the game ends. You're collecting captains. You're lining the players up. You might have 1 to 2 minutes in between the coin flip and when you call your first kicker up. And then each kicker, as they execute their kick, the next kicker should be moving forward down to the penalty area from midfield. and the person, the assistant referee that's down there, that's in the center circle with the teams, needs to be there encouraging the next kicker to move down to the penalty area as soon as that kick is starting. All right. So you made it to the end of the game. Your game's over. You finally got done with your kicks, or you were lucky and you had a great close game, but you didn't need to go to kicks or to overtime. The field marshal is going to come up to you as you guys are walking off. They will ask you for the game sheet or the final score. Please provide them with either or both. Uh, Again, also as a reminder, I would encourage you to take a picture of the rosters for your misconduct reporting and send-offs. And then that way you also have a copy of that to keep for your records in case you need to have a follow-up conversation with me about any sort of disputes over check-ins, yellow cards or red cards, or people that were or were not on the bench at the time. Always verify the score and misconduct with your crews. We don't want wrong scores or transposed scores submitted. We definitely don't want uh, incorrect numbers identified, especially if it's a send off and you give us the wrong number. You know, everybody on your crew should be getting together after the game immediately, and you guys should be verifying that information amongst the three of you. And then there's probably about 12 of you that are doing 4 games a day on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to encourage you to stay dry and stay warm in between your games as much as you can. If that means going and sitting and hanging out in a dry area while you wait for the next game to begin, definitely do that. Have your jacket, have your sweatpants ready, your heated gloves. I don't know what else. You got heated socks ready to go, some hot cocoa, stuff like that. Because I know that some of us don't enjoy the cold weather or don't enjoy the cold weather and being wet. So make sure we're prepared to kind of recover slightly in between games. We're going to try to get as many games mentored during this weekend. And as you can probably see on some of your assignments, that you do have mentors. And we're going to try to do the best we can to providing a brief and succinct feedback session following the match. I'm going to kind of take a break here and have Jonathan kind of just chime in a little bit about you know, why are we mentoring and what should you be getting out of it?
Thanks, Craig. So I'm Jonathan Simmons. I'm director of mentoring. If I haven't met you, hopefully I'll see you this weekend. I'm one of many mentors that are going to be out there at the fields this weekend. And I want to say what a mentor is not someone who's grading you. If we're not here to pass, fail anybody. This is not kind of our agenda as mentors. Okay, so as referees, we have a very long journey ahead of us, and we encounter a lot of unexpected things on games. And for some of us, we the first time we see things, we react differently, and then we learn from those experiences. And so it's much easier to learn from those experiences if you have someone to talk with. Okay, so if you have something weird that happens on your game, that's what the mentor's there for. To talk you through it. They've probably seen it before. A lot of our mentors are very experienced officials who have been through this. So don't think that you're out there on an island alone. We're trying to get every game mentored. That's not good. That's not really going to happen. But at least on Friday and Sunday, I think nearly every single game will have a mentor on it. just so to make sure everything goes okay. And so if you need help with, let's say, rowdy spectators and you don't want to go, you need a little bit of help. Hey, maybe the mentor can talk to the field marshal while you're actually doing the game. If you have penalty kicks and you don't exactly know how to do, or kicks from the mark, penalty shootout, and you haven't done one of those before, talk to your mentor or talk to a mentor on the field next to you. Hey, we're going to go to kicks. Can you tell help me out with this a little bit? That's the resource we want you to have on these games so we get them right. This is a very good opportunity for us to give you challenging games. Part of the mentoring program is we see you on your first game out, and then we kind of let you go do your thing, and then we come back to you here on what is basically a state cup game for much of the state is walk up. And so what we're going to do on Friday and Sunday is have a mentor on pretty much every game. On Saturday, we're spread out throughout the day because there's so many games. But for the mentors, they're going to give you hopefully only a couple minutes feedback. Since we have multiple games in a day, the main concern for the tournament is keeping the games on time, right? So if the mentor is keeping you from the next game, say, hey, thank you very much. Can you write that down online? And they will. Hopefully, our mentors are going to give you a verbal debrief, and then afterwards they go online onto NSO and they'll fill out a feedback form. What you did good and what you did not so good, and we can learn from. And that's when you can an actual hard copy that you can look back upon. And if you have any questions, if you have a mentor yourself that you talk to a whole bunch, you can take that feedback to your mentor and interpret it and try to get and bounce those ideas off your mentor. Or you can contact the mentor themselves. Hey, can I message you about the feedback that you gave me on this game? Okay, so this is just an opportunity for us to interact with you, to pick your brain. If something weird happens, if there's a red card, talk it through with your mentor. And we're not here to grade you. We're not here to pass fail you. We're here to help you get better because I can tell you myself, I do not call the perfect match any given game. And I would love to have someone come out and look at me and say, hey, from an outside perspective, hey, you could have done this better. So that's not a negative on you. It's just helpful feedback that you can use to fine tune your brand of soccer, because that's what we're really looking for is your brand of soccer. What brand of soccer are you bringing to the field today? And the coaches will hopefully like what you're bringing. That's kind of about it from me, unless the debrief will happen right after the game. We'll shove you off onto your next game, but again, you'll hopefully get a hard copy that you can remember for later.
And so one of the other things is like, yes, we understand that you may be pressed to go to another game, another field where, that's where, as the assigner, I tried to keep it at the same location. So then that way there's not a lot of running around. And that the mentor understands that if you are short on time, that they can hopefully provide you with some brief feedback that you can take to your next game. And then don't worry if the mentor doesn't have a lot of feedback for you, because sometimes you are just awesome. If you are just amazing and awesome and you had a great game and the mentor's like, hey, great job. I don't have a lot for you. Take that as a compliment. Take that as you showed up, you worked hard, and you really delivered what they were expecting, you to deliver. And just pat yourself on the back and go on and do the same thing in the next game.
And sometimes if you have a 9-0 or a 10-0 game, there's not a lot of feedback on those too. So just, take that easy game,
Take my money and run. Um, we're reaching our final minutes here. Just enough people barely to get most of our games filled. We do have a couple of schedule changes. And I think I do have one referee injury. So as those things happen, and then as we talked about conflicts with clubs and teams, we may see some slight movements. I'm going to try to get those all finished off either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. Most of that stuff will primarily impact the Saturday games. The Friday games are pretty well set. There was not very many of them. So if you felt like you didn't get a Friday game, don't feel bad. There wasn't very many, and I had a hard. I when as an assigner, I have a hard time balancing out trying to include you in as many games as possible, but also understanding that if you're driving from Everett, that you don't want to come down for two games on a Friday night when it's going to take you 2 hours to get to Valley Ridge Park, and then it's another 2 hour drive home. So then I said, hey, let's see if we can just keep you on a Saturday and make it easier on your drive. And then, as well as the Sunday games being all at one location, a little bit easier to schedule that. If you are a person who has only a couple of games and you feel like you are ready and willing to pick up an additional game, please visit the website, submit a request, and I will be reviewing those in the next 24 hours, trying to fill out the last little openings we have on Saturday and Sunday. Advice for the weekend: be early, don't be late. I don't want to get a call, I don't want to get a text that says there was a wreck or traffic or it took, parking. Um, be early. Be early on that first game. That's all I can tell you. That's proper planning. That's knowing uh, that if your drive usually takes on a Friday night, if it usually takes you 45 minutes, plan on it taking you a full hour or more. Um, check in with your crews when you get to the field. Make sure you introduce yourself. I think a lot of us have already worked together with each other, so you may see some familiar faces out there. But make sure you check in and you introduce yourself when you get to your fields. We're looking for a safe and fun experience out there, so please, 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 please make sure that you yourself and the participants and the spectators are as safe as possible, and that well, everyone, as much as we possibly can, is having fun. Obviously, at the end of every game, there's going to be a team that's not happy with the result, and there's going to be a team that is happy with the result. But we just want to make sure that we provide the best level of officiating that we can for everyone that's there.
Craig, question from chat.
Yes.
Is there still a parking area at Ravensdale for referees, and is there a shed?
So at Ravensdale, in between fields 4 and 3, there is a grass area specifically for referees and some coaches to park. And that should be, I believe, there will be a person out there helping navigate access to that area, one of the staff members, and just remind them that you are an official there, and then there is reserved parking in that area. So instead of trying to park in the main parking lot in the paved area, go all the way to the back by the shed, and there should be a spot back there for you. You can go into the shed building if you're looking to escape the elements. I don't know if the tournament staff will be inside of there. They may be in there for some early check-ins. So on Friday and early Saturday, they may be dealing with teams. So if you're okay hanging out in that room, just be aware that the tournament staff will also be coming and going out of there. And it's also kind of hit and miss on whether it's warm or not in there. I think the little space heaters that they have in there only turn on for a couple of hours at a time. So get real close to them. Uh, keeping your game on time, making sure that you start your game on time, that you limit your half times to 5 minutes. I think someone asked if we are adding stoppage. Yes, we are adding stoppage. We have just enough time in our schedule where we can add some stoppage time. The tournament has asked that to make sure if you are adding stoppage time, that your game concludes at least 15 minutes prior to the next game starting. So if your game starts at 1 o'clock and the next game starts at 3 o'clock, you need to make sure that if you are adding stoppage time, that your game ends by 2:45 if possible. So if in the first half you have some injuries and you want to add 1 or 2 minutes, that's great. If in the second half we have to call the paramedics or the ambulance, and you need to add 10 to 15 minutes, look at the clock. How can we accommodate that? What's the score? Um, if it's a blowout, if it's is insurmountable, we're probably going to err on the side of trying to get the game over within the scheduled time. If it's a close game, we're going to try to see how close can we wedge it in there without really rolling into the next game. And I understand that sometimes those things are just unavoidable, but they are asking for us to be completed at least 15 minutes prior to the next game starting. Which reminds me, Friday night. I don't know why, but they scheduled um, the first game at 6 and the second game at 7:45. So you have, what's that, 105 minutes? Not a lot of time, especially if you end up going to kicks. So if in that 6 o'clock game, you go to kicks, obviously the other team can't go warm up until you guys are done. And you just know, I think everyone is staying for both games at all the fields, so you're on that same crew. Uh, so your game will start immediately right after your first game, but not as much time as the Saturday and Sunday games. We have a full 2 hour time block for all the game scheduling on Saturday and Sunday. So enough time there for us to be able to go to kicks if we have to, and also add a slight amount of stoppage time. So I would be slightly conservative with the stoppage time, not excessive.
Yeah, let's be considering that maybe we don't need to add stoppage time if we don't have any stoppage time. Also, a reminder that kicking off on time means that you're blowing the whistle literally on the dot at that hour, and so walking out 5 minutes till is probably a good idea, or maybe even more than that, because it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes for them to do their chant and get in their circle, and then do another chant, and just make sure we walk out at 5 minutes till so we can kick off on time.
Yep. Thank you. What? Have fun. I think we all want to go out and have fun. Um, and if you see a person on your crew not having fun, I always just like to say, I need a smile from you before we walk out. If you got a corny joke or especially a really good dad joke, it's always best to save it for later. Um, and then share. I know we're going to have the mentors. They're going to have a lot of experience out there on the field that they're going to want to share with us. If you, as an official, have knowledge or you have an experience that you can share with your crew, share it with them. Share your love of the game with them. And because I think that's why a lot of us are participating in as officials. We love the game, and we want to be out there. Let's see how many slides we got left here. All right. If I haven't said it already, all games are 40-minute halves, right? Um, one final thing here is all of the games that are in the gold division. So if your game says the gold division and it is a quarterfinal, semifinal, or final, and people are excited, players are excited, coaches are excited, it's because these games matter and that the winner of this event gets an automatic bid to National Cup in Denver, Colorado, that middle of July. So they get a direct path. Teams that don't win this weekend will have the option to going to a regional, so they'll get to travel to California or Milwaukee or not Illinois to then hopefully progress on if that's what they want to do. And as any soccer parent knows, it's not cheap having to go to a regional. So the teams that get to go directly to nationals are super excited that they don't have to try to play in through a regional event. And it's a big honor. I think there was two teams last year that made it into the finals, with one team narrowly losing out in their final match at National Cup. So they are excited. There's an opportunity to go play for bigger prizes and on a bigger stage. Here's everyone's favorite part: the end.